Jesus and his disciples were walking through Jerusalem when they came upon a crowd that was going to stone a woman to death for adultery. Jesus jumped in front of the woman and said, "Let the one without sin cast the first stone." Suddenly, from out of the crowd, a rock flew toward the woman's head. It struck her square in the temple and knocked her unconscious. And Jesus yelled, "Mary, Mother, I was trying to make a point." This story about throwing the first stone and the adulterous woman is in today's gospel. Stoning figures prominently. We're told, and I quote from the gospel, "Moses commanded us to stone such women." Did Moses really make such a horrible command? Let's find out. We read about Moses and stoning in the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, entitled Penalties for Various Sins, where we find a long list of harsh penalties, at least by today's standards, such as anyone who curses his father or mother shall be put to death. Most of us, including me, don't have a clue about Leviticus. I'd wager few here have read it. This book is Jewish history, yet it should interest us. After all, Jesus was a Jew, as was Mary and Joseph, as were the disciples, as was Paul, and the list goes on. We should never forget our church's deep Jewish roots. Consider that the Jewish synagogue and its liturgical year very well might have shaped the memory of Jesus and how our Gospels were fashioned. Perhaps the most important part of Leviticus chapter 20 is the beginning that reads, "The Lord said to Moses." So there's the answer. Moses didn't command the stoning. God is blamed by the authors of Leviticus with its 27 chapters of rules of the road, written not by God, but by priests of one of the tribes of Israel. It seems that God gets blamed for a lot of things. Consider the first reading from Isaiah. It goes, "Thus says the Lord, who opens a way to the sea and a path to the mighty waters, who leads out chariots and horsemen, a powerful army till they lie prostrate together, never to rise, snuffed out and quenched like a wick." Isaiah blames God for all those horses and those men being snuffed out. It's so easy and dangerous for us to blame God for evil deeds because it takes the burden off of us. God gets scapegoated for our sinful behavior and all our wrong decisions, all our wrong choices. It's certainly crazy and insane to blame God for stoning women, then and especially now. Stoning still does occur in parts of the world where horrible and evil men need an excuse to harm or even kill women. It's our fault when we sin, not God's. And Jesus recognized this very clearly when he said, "Let the one among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." It's one of the wisest sayings ever attributed to Jesus. But do stones always have to be hard rocks? No. We can stone people in other, even more harmful ways. Real stones injure, but so do words. Bruises fade and heal, but harsh and cruel words can cause lasting injury. Sticks and stones may break our bones, but words will never hurt us. Whoever came up with that well-known saying that I think we can all reject, words thrown like stones hurt, and sometimes terribly. Words said in anger can even be dagger-like. Consider the hurt caused through the social media. For example, internet bullying has caused many young people to take their lives, to commit suicide. Words can be more like bullets than stones. Now, there's another popular expression about stones. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. We all live in glass houses. That glass isn't shatterproof. It's not made of plexiglass. We live in our own fragile glass houses that can be built of hypocrisy, scapegoating, and finger-pointing. Throwing stones at others breaks our own glass to reveal that we're stone deaf and stone blind to our own faults and our own sins. Especially during Lent, let's not throw stones at people. Instead, let's do two things. First, let's use our stones to rebuild broken bridges, to heal relationships gone bad, perhaps with a friend or maybe with a family member. And second, in keeping with the empty tomb experience at Easter just a few weeks away, let's roll stones. Imagine Jesus giving us this command: let all of you who have sinned against yourselves and others roll away your stones. Roll away the stones at the entrances to your own tombs you have created for yourselves and kept dark through your insensitivity, pride, arrogance, and envy. Let the light shine in and open yourselves to friendships, relationships, and love. We end with this thought. Some people will always throw stones in our paths. It depends on us what we decide to make with them, walls or bridges. Remember that we are the architects of our own lives, and Jesus helps us draw the blueprints.